Thank you, Jose. I appreciate that. And greetings, Nebraska, huh? How is it in Nebraska right now? Is it warm? Make sure that I am on screen there. Okay. So, greetings from Chicago. Tala, hi. So today, if you guys don't know, a while back, I tried to create my own little comic. And I did it for, quite a while. I think it was like 3 months. When you do one of those a week, you only get like 12. I think that's how many I did. And it seems like less because there's only 12 of them, but it actually went on for a few months. But originally I wanted to turn it into this story, and so now I'm coming back with it, and I get to use it for the YouTube channel as well, and I'm gonna make emojis and channel stuff. So we have all that, but I need to actually design the two main characters, one of which is myself, which is this guy right here, which is really hard to redraw again, and the other is this fox. If anybody has ever read Calvin and Hobbes, very inspired by that. I drew these yesterday because I gotta come up with their, like, they can change clothes and stuff, but I gotta come up with their kind of standard outfits. Like, most manga has really good, like, One Piece, which I love, has really good simplifications for their character designs, right? So I gotta come up with what that is. This ended up, I liked the fox one, although the ears make it look more like a rabbit now, so I gotta fix that, but I was pretty happy with it. Hi, 4. Greetings from Chicago. Yeah, hi, Chicago. You guys are all over, huh? Okay. Suppose I can do this over here. I should just start a new layer. Do you think cartoon characters wear the same outfit all the time, or do they just have a wardrobe full of the same outfit? Depends on the character. Luffy definitely has a wardrobe of all of the same outfit. Plus or minus some extra shirts. Mostly because he's a dummy. we're good to go. We're just gonna draw some kind of like simple pose because I just need to I need to outfit them in clothes, so I don't really care too much. Just gotta make sure the pose doesn't look too spectacularly awful. Good answer, thanks. But yeah, in order to make, you know, even emojis for the channel and stuff, we gotta make sure I have the character design down. Do you ever participate in monthly drawing challenges like Mermay or Inktober? I've tried in the past. I definitely think those end up becoming more of a hindrance than any kind of help or turning into any fun, because you end up feeling so much pressure that like I never end up contributing more than a couple drawings to it. I think most people try to use it as a way to like get themselves to draw and stuff like that, and again it just becomes this huge pressure. I'm definitely more in a place where that doesn't bother me so much, so I could probably participate without feeling all that. But right now I am trying to just work on that confidence. But yeah, probably in the future, once I'm faster and stuff, it'll be more fun to take part in, you know? Alright, now the question becomes that outfit. So we'll probably, as long as this is not too big. Well, it actually might be too small. Let's pull. This is like one of the best drawings I've ever done, so I've been using it as like this frame of reference, and it's really hard to match. Um, it's gonna show up down there. See, this is turned a little bit, and it's moving away from us in space, so it's not going to be perfect. Similar, I think he needs to be slightly slimmer. And the legs a little bit taller. So we're just going to do that. I had a feeling this was too wide. That's why that was screwing me up. Okay. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Inktober. It feels very grindy. It demotivates a lot of people. It's really difficult to complete. Yeah, exactly. Only time I managed to complete Inktober was when I did all drawings in one day on Post-it notes and a Sharpie. Yeah, it's not a bad challenge. Legs are a little slimmer. That's what's going to make them feel a little taller. Alright, and we're going to duplicate this sucker so we can, oops. Why is it not moving? There we go. The wonderful thing about being digital is that you can duplicate the pose, so you can try different outfits without having to redraw it every time. Which is not a bad thing either, but sometimes you just want to explore some things. I did Posevember? What is that? Different? Oh, Posevember. Different poses every day, although I limited it to just 30 to 45 minutes sketch. I think that made it more bearable. You know, poses are tough too. I feel like there's a lot of things that people think should be, you should just innately be creative about, and that's not the case. Like, everything, even the things that you don't think are learned skills, like being creative or coming up with ideas, is a skill that you have to learn and practice. So coming up with poses is one of the harder things to do. It makes you feel like kind of an idiot because you'll practice right all day from like from different poses, and some of them you'll feel like you'll nail and you do a really good job, and then you try to do your own and it's like your pose is just like, hello, this is all I know how to do, a straight on pose. Like, I mean, even look at the one I got now. It's a little bit better, granted, because there's some curvature and all that. But this is all that shows up in your brain. And you're just like, why? Why can I not come up with a cool pose? One that I just have drawn like 1,000 times from other artists. Or even from, from life. But it's just something that you learn. You have to give yourself a chance to learn how to do poses. Not that you had trouble with it, Tala, just saying. I have a lot of trouble with it, and it makes me feel really dumb. Alright, let's see here. I like that zippery jacket. This is more. think I'll take the shoes from there. The big zipper jacket, though, is interesting. Oh, gonna need you. Okay. Probably not my style for this character, but might as well try it. Why not? Uber would have been a better challenge if people also had a sketch timber, where they finished all the sketches and inked them during October. That's not a bad idea. Let's try just bringing this zipper down. And don't particularly, but let's keep going with them anyways. Interesting shoes. When you have a free moment, could you drop a link to your Discord? Yeah, sure. Let me drop a new one in. Ooh. Invite people. Copy. Alright, that should work. Feel free to drop in whenever. shoes. Need to be bigger. Oop. Mm. I keep thinking adding a whatever I do, I'm gonna add a little like straw hat logo just to pay a little tribute to Oda. I don't know though. Maybe we'll see. Get rid of this. Well, actually, there's more of these. Just don't think I'm gonna get anything. I already found this one. So. Before the falls. Let's try one of these long jacket things. It's not something I really wear either, but let's try it. Main character hat can do so much to the design. Hats are always fun. I'm not really a big hat wearer, unless I'm protecting myself from the sun. But yeah, no, I'm sure hats can add a lot. I don't know how to draw folds. Forgive me. Should be a there. Again, add the little Mugiwara. This is a shorthand for folds. Yeah, someone told me to use it when you're trying to do, if you want to make interesting fold marks, to do a Z pattern in most places. So like if you have this to go like that, then it adds like a lot of interest. Just change the, use your design senses for big, medium, small when you draw the lines. It doesn't really help, like you still have to have the knowledge of what the fold is doing, so it makes things look interesting, but I don't have the knowledge of like what is happening, so it helps and it doesn't help. We can give this one a hat, just cause. But I can draw hats apparently. Jesus Christ. Z's and triangles are useful as half loose legs and sleeves. Yeah. Draw it, so just let's go with that. Hmm. I just don't have really anything iconic I wear. I have like a jacket that I like. Oh, so a simple hoodie, poofy hoodie. Something on the front. Oh, again with this. Damn it. When it comes to depicting fashion from different decades, key features look for how long or short the cuts are and where it's more tight and more loose. I didn't know that. Chubby hand. Hard to make a poofy sweatshirt without making yourself look fat. Hey, Kareem. Mid 2000 millennial fashion had slim, tight legs paired with longer skirts that elongated the torso. Now it's crop top and wide pants. Very 70s inspired. Yeah, I do know that fashion is kind of cyclical, like it keeps repeating. But that is interesting. I'm not necessarily going for, well, I guess modern time period, but who is cool? Cannot be me. Okay. Need more. There's one thing you may be right about for is I need more fashion inspiration. I think for whatever reason I chose, like a lot of the chibi cartoon stuff that I have is not necessarily fashion oriented. So I have a whole folder of stuff. It just like, and it's so much cool stuff, but it's just not something. It's so hard to make like a cartoon character of yourself because you're like, this is not me. And I have nothing that I wear that's like iconic. So when I do the fox, that's why I end up putting him. He ended up looking a little feminine, which I'm okay with. But I put him in this like half jacket. I was always really a big fan of, if you know Dragon Ball Z, the Trunks' design. I've always loved those like half jackets, particularly on men. I think it looks really cool. I mean, it looks cool on women too, don't get me wrong. But the jackets that like don't go all the way down, there's so many, because it's an interesting breakup of space, there's so many ways that you can play around with it. Have you considered becoming a character designer? I mean, that's what I really want to do. A CEO of cats. Yeah, perspective warper. Character design is kind of what I really want to do. So it's just that I've shied away from it for a very, very long time because I just felt like I wasn't good enough to be able to do stuff. Oh, speaking of which, guys, I finished the Sword Art Online thing. It probably won't look very different because it was just making touch-ups to the flats. But yeah, oops. This is the first thing that I've really, truly done for myself, even though it's fan art. And it's done. For the Sword Art Online project that I'm doing, it's gonna be like a couple, it's like 20% flats like this, and the rest of it's gonna be illustrated and or inked stuff. So just very happy with it. What for? TV, games, or film? I don't have any particular interest to work in the industry because of how shitty it is. No offense to anybody who works there, like, if you've managed to make a career out of it, that's great. You know, it's exciting. It would be cool to work in any one of them. But I would probably say games or cartoons more than anything. Or like games and anime kind of thing. I suppose you could make a film out of it too. Like my favorite... Here, I'll show you... I would say my two favorite character designers come from Ray, who's just my favorite artist in general. I'll show you a couple of hers. Let's look at... So here's a couple of Rays. I'll make these a little bigger so you can see them. Like when I can do this, this will be monumental. I also love, I don't know their name, I just call them SB because it's SB and then a ton of numbers. Some of these are not safe for work, so let me find ones that look good that are safe. But seriously, Ray is just incredible. I should have also shown the, there's one that I really, really love, but let me see here. SB was incredible. Whoop. Did the other one come in? Oh no, it didn't. Let's try this one maybe. Some of them don't work. When you save images from Twitter, they don't want to go. into the painting program. How about this one? There we go. Any of the work from Alchemy Stars is really gorgeous. Let me see. Ray did this really awesome series for, it was like for a music group. But man, it was so good. This is one of my favorites. Let's see there. Not just for the character design, but also the presentation is just alarmingly good. I'm back again. Morning Terror. Yeah, there's a bunch of these fours, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 of these. I really like this one with the bell too, and the snake. It's kind of one of those ones that like sneaks up on you. You have to look at it for a little bit, and then you notice that, oh, there's a bell here and a snake. The use of color is just really smart. Oh, there's 11 of these. Just kidding. There was one more I was going to show. Yeah, they're really awesome. Oh, Alchemy Stars. It's the... That is a mobile game, but always, always, always they come out with some of the greatest designs. And it's just, they're almost all shockingly good. There's very few that I would say I'm not like a fan of. Come on, work. There we go. Again, some of these don't load in. They're very good at using the principles of design in a very smart way. I can't see some of these, so oh shit. Knowing the principles of design and actually using them properly is two different things. Like, I know them very well, but I have not practiced them, so I'm not going to be good at, or I'm just not good at this yet. It's just something you have to practice anyways, but even simple ones, like this is like a, come on. I'm trying to share, but it just like won't let me. Let's go through. Oh, there we go. There's another one. Like, even simple stuff is just done in a really smart way. Anyways, side detour character design. Stuff that I can't do yet, but yeah. Out of those, like, two very specific designers in one game that has a very specific style. Those are kind of what I go after. Might be that I have to put the fox and myself side by side because, you know, I'm gonna do that for the next set. Come on, come over here. Sometimes you have to draw your characters It was something I learned in one of my character design, and arguably I got one of the best character design teachers in the world. I was so inexperienced at the time. But whenever he had us design, it was always as a cast of characters because it helps you understand and how you should contrast. Oh boy. Okay. For some reason, the style of drawings doesn't look that exciting to me. Don't get me wrong, the style's really great, but the more cartoony webtoon slice of life style looks better. You'd have to show me an example, CEO of Cats, because I'm not sure what you're talking about. Like what that style looks like. Are you in the Discord? You can share an image. Alright, we're gonna be the same height. Minus the fact that this will be an animal, or animal humanoid. Jesus. Okay. Hi, Tokidoki. Busy season with work started, haven't had any time to draw. Hi, Ryan. I'm worried I'm going back into a phase where I don't draw for months. You know, one of the things that helped me, I don't know if this is your case, Doki Doki. Oh, 4 is right. Sometimes you do just get busy. That did happen to me recently, actually. I just had to stop. You don't forget how to do this stuff, you know? It feels like you will. It's a little scary, but like, you're not going to forget. So don't worry about taking an extended break if you have to. But one of the things that helped me, I don't know if this applies to you, is sometimes I would have trouble drawing because I thought that there wasn't enough time to really sink into it. I was going to learn anything. Like, I've now started drawing for 2 hours at a time, which is when I do, which is how I do these streams now as well. I'm doing good, thanks, Ryan. How about yourself? So yeah, there was a good long while where if I didn't get this 2 hours, I felt like it wasn't worth it. Like if I had a 1.5 hour block of time, even that much, like especially even at like 30 minutes, it was just like, nope, not enough time, not enough time. And it held me back from actually sitting down to draw because I thought that I needed to hit this specific number. And it could be that you only have 15 minutes to work on stuff. But this is fine. You know? And then, you know, I'm sure when you're working and stuff, whatever you did during this time will ruminate inside your brain. I don't know if I have any drawings for this, right? If you're drawing the figure, and you'll start to learn stuff while you're out and about doing whatever work you needed to do because you spent 15 minutes doing some simple stuff. You know? Oh, Jesus. Did I not delete all that? Oh, no. Don't do that. Okay. Have I? That's so frustrating. I definitely could do it before. Okay. You feel rusty, we don't really lose progress. It's just on hold. Yeah, exactly. I was always afraid, like, when I did an illustration, it took like a week or something, I would forget how to draw. Such a silly thing, but, like, it's a real fear we all tend to feel, so there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. We're gonna copy that, and then make sure we have that. So that's on that layer, so we're just going to work off of this one. Okay. So again, the reason why I did this is so that I could design them together. Because sometimes you need to design it as a cast to see, so you can start to contrast between the two characters, and these are my two main characters, so I need to make sure they don't look exactly the same. Obviously one has ears, but the drift. Toki, thank you guys. I needed to hear that. Oh, I'm glad. It's honestly, that's a new thing for me. I like literally within the past 2 weeks, I feel like the more that I get into drawing and better with my mental state is like learning all these toxic traits or excuse me, unlearning all of these toxic traits that I had picked up, I guess, maybe from art school, just in general. Um, it's kind of sad, but I think in many ways, like, we've just picked up a lot of the same toxic stuff that has been passed down student to student, and no one has bothered to break them. I mean, that's the whole point of why, and hopefully why, people resonate and come to this channel, is because they realize, like, oh, I'm doing the same dumb shit that he is, and he's been drawing for almost 15 years and he's still not, professional, and I'm hoping that I'm here to break them. Exactly. I'm hoping that I'm like the example that I can show you, after all this time, that I'll still bust into that high level of skill. And that it doesn't have to take very long. I was just reading this book, or I have to take a standing break anyway, so I'll pop up with you guys for a sec. What'd you say, Ryan? Studying about OCs, original characters, and writing characters' backstory. Okay. How do you study OCs? Are you reading something, or what do you do for that? Okay, hang on. This is not working. Okay. Tara, I wouldn't recommend doing live streams just to get stuff done. Mostly because it's hard to think when you're doing live streams, because your brain's already preoccupied. Your brain's only really good at doing one thing at a time. So I wouldn't recommend trying to stream to learn. Like, I get to have fun learning while I'm with you guys, but I know that the amount that I can learn is kind of reduced. I'm doing a lot of things on autopilot. And I'm okay with that. I still draw outside of the live streams. I previously haven't heard that. You don't lose progress, it's on hold. It hits differently, makes you contemplate. Yeah, exactly. It's definitely not something you lose progress on. You would have to stop for years and years. Like, it would be a long time. Even after I stopped for it was over a year, I still, like, it felt uncomfortable at first for maybe a couple days, but I still picked it up back again really quickly, back to what I was. It wasn't gone. That would depend too on how much you've spent, like, learning this stuff, right? If you've only been learning it for a couple months and then you stop for a couple years, you might not remember any of that. But the more that you build up that knowledge, the less that you're gonna lose it, Oh, so I was going to tell you guys. So there's this book I was reading called Hidden Potential. And I was kind of psyched about the book because it talked about a lot of the things that the way that I'm writing my book, it really was in the same line of vision. But it talked about this woman, I think her name was Sarah Maria. She's a polyglot. If you don't know what that is, it's when you can speak multiple languages. And she struggled for... I'm hopefully going to talk about this in my next video, but I'll give you guys the brief rundown. She struggled to learn a single new language for, I believe, 10 years, right? And I found a lot of similarities with that, right? Because I've been drawing for 13 years, and I've been struggling to become fluent in drawing, right? The same way she couldn't get fluent in a language. And so I forget exactly all the details of how she figured this out, but she realized she had to lean into discomfort to actually learn more effectively. And so she picked up a teaching job in whatever. I don't remember what country it was, but she was trying to learn Spanish this whole time. And in the span of a couple months, she was able to become fluent in the language that she had struggled with for over 10 years. And the lesson there is that if you really want to learn something, you have to be courageous and lean into discomfort. Like, actively seek it out. And it's something that I'm trying to do now. I'm not trying to veer away from, like, even if I want to try an illustration or something that's like I just did with the Sword Art Online thing. I wanted to do those color flats. I wanted to ink it. I'd never really done much like that before, so I did it. And I surprised myself. And sometimes you're going to fail really hard, but you're also going to surprise yourself a lot too. But you're also going to learn a lot. And just from listening to that story, I was thinking about how, because I've read a lot of books about how you learn. And, you know, people say that kids learn a lot because their brains are sponges, which is true. But we can still learn really well as adults and create new neurons and all that stuff. So what I think is really happening as kids, why they learn so fast sometimes, is because they're less afraid to lean into discomfort. They're less afraid of failing and being wrong. Whereas adults, you become terrified of that stuff and you avoid doing things that you want to do because you think that you're going to fail, or you're going to be terrible at it, or you're going to look stupid. In my last video, I had that quote from that girl saying she was drawing a picture of God, and the teacher was like nobody knows what God looks like, and she was like, they will in a minute. Like, they have that unrelenting just bravery to just show you what's in their imagination. I think that's why they learn so fast. So if you want to draw really well and not spend a ton of time, you know, being bad at it, lean into discomfort and seek it out. I think there's a balance, right? So that you don't get too frustrated. If you're getting frustrated, that means, you know, you're not in the right mental state to take on that challenge. So you really, there's a lot of like becoming comfortable with being bad, you know, so that you can get good, coming into it with the mindset of being more excited to learn than you are afraid of failing. Like, I always look at it as an opportunity now. Like, it's a bummer sometimes when my drawing comes out bad, but I'm like, oh, look at all the things that I get to learn now. It's a little bit like learning to ride a bike. Once you know, you sort of don't lose that knowledge. Yeah. True. CEO of Cats, they don't have the life experience that adults and even younger people have, not tainted by it. Yeah. True. Honestly, I have an easier time to learn things now than when I was a teen, which probably has more to do with having a bit more self-discipline. Yeah, they talk about that too. There's 4 skills that stay with kids from kindergarten that are indicators of how successful they'll be, and it's nothing to do with like math or reading or whatever. It's all what they call soft skills. So it's like determination, discipline, being pro-social. I forgot what the last one was. Starts with another P. Hey, Silver. Tala, yes, we shouldn't be afraid of making a lot of bad art. No, exactly. One sec, I need more water. Oops, the cord is falling. There you go. I'd really like to come up with a way to reframe that too. Like calling it bad art, the stuff that you're gonna do at first. I don't really know if there's a way to do that. Like I know it's bad, right? But when you're learning how to do this, your eyes don't see some of that stuff as bad art, even though we know objectively that it's not as good as like a professional artist. I gotta brainstorm that. There's gotta be a way to reframe that so we don't have to call it bad art and make it seem it's like that. It's a mental load that you have to take on. Perseverance. It might have been it. It's a good book if you're interested. Ugh. The best way to really learn something is to fail and learn why you failed. As an adult, the strength we have is knowing the mechanics of learning and taking advantage of that. Yeah, but there is a lot to say about being able to understand why you failed. But there actually is research about this that even if you learn more if you try to do something and fail, even if you don't know exactly why you failed. And then you learn afterwards. It's almost like putting together pieces of a puzzle, and your brain subconsciously picks up a lot of things too. So you won't necessarily know everything about why you failed. Not that that's what you were suggesting, Toki. But you'll learn new things each time. I came here for drawings, but I'm staying for the life advices. That's good. I'm back to drawing. We're going back. But I'll do the life advices too. That's kind of my thing, is the life advices, just wrapped into the artistry. Comment character limit sucks. Is there any way I can change that for you guys? I don't think so, right? Well, that's why we have Discord, I guess. Biggest issue with schools, teach students to associate failure as a bad thing to avoid. If you don't allow people to fail, they'll develop an unhealthy mindset. Oh yeah, it's a big one. I hate the general school education. It's awful. Don't even get me started. If you guys want I was repeating this story to my mom last night because we were talking about something to do with learning. And she pointed out, like, she was like, yeah, you've had bad teachers too that have really put you down in a way that made it hard for you to move forward. I had this one teacher, it was my first character design class at Laguna College of Art and Design, Laguna Beach. It was the first school I went to when I came out to California. And first character design class, super excited because it's like, as I told someone earlier, I forget her name. That was the thing that I really wanted to do. And our first assignment was choosing a book. We were gonna take a book and design the characters and stuff. And I chose Artemis Fowl. I don't know if you remember those books. They were really cool. It's like a boy genius thing. And the first assignment was to do exploratory sketches for one of the characters, or one or two of the characters. And I did tons of work. It's all at my parents' house now, but I still have the sketchbook of work, but it was tons of pages of drawings. I did tons of studies from another artist. And then I did tons of like design explorations for each character, and then I did a pencil illustration, you could call it, because I rendered out the pencil and everything of one of the characters. And I brought all that work into class, and he was going around, the teacher was going around individually to each person, like to talk to them. And I heard, I overheard nice things from each person. And then he gets to my stuff. He looks through all my work and then the final character design. And I knew, like, I've always been consciously aware of, like, whether or not I'm good. I know there's some people who have trouble understanding of where their skill level is at, but I know, right? Most people do know. They're like, this is good, this is bad. And I knew it was bad. Like, I'm still learning. This is my first year at art school. And he looks at me and he says, these are high school level drawings. I don't know what to do with this. And I was like shocked. I just didn't understand what the hell happened. He was a bad teacher. And I found out later he's working at like art center and stuff too, which is like one of the most prestigious schools out here. So I just like, I think I may have showed up to one more class and then I left the class because it was just so demoralizing. And I don't think people realize that when stuff like that happens, I'm thankfully I was older when I went to art school, so I still, moved forward and went to other classes. But I do think that affected me, now looking back, more than I realized. But as a even younger person, that well, excuse my language, but that will fuck you up for life. You will never be the same, right? You'll always think about that moment. And I don't necessarily do that, but it's definitely still there. Like, I can still tell the story because I remember. Sorry, I missed all your comments. Oh, Toki, you studied teaching English. That's really cool. Yeah, it is really interesting. I love learning about this stuff. It's very fascinating to me. Having your knowledge defined by a letter annoyed me. Yeah, grades are dumb too. Yeah, I haven't seen Jack in a while. I'm sure he's just busy. Is there a limit to how much art you can learn on your own before you need professional mentorship? You can learn everything on your own, Kareem. Mentorship will help you move things along faster, obviously, because you have someone specifically able to call out where the gap is between what you're doing and what a professional would do. So they're going to be able to, they have all this knowledge that you don't have yet, right? So you'll make a character design and they'll be like, oh, okay, you didn't, there's not enough variety here. You didn't repeat any shapes, yada yada. You don't need professional mentorship at all. It certainly won't hurt you. It does help, and it will help you move things along quicker, I'm sure. And I'm sure you'll also learn tricks and things that you didn't know. It's just speed, really. It helps you learn things faster. Because when you have that immediate understanding of how you can make something better, that's just, and you can't do that on your own. I enjoyed my time in art school, but I didn't go to fine art ones. I did comics and also gilding, decorative painting, so it seems to have a different experience. Yeah, it was funny enough, that was the entertainment design program at Laguna. That was before I had my fine art experience in Sweden. Bye, Akil. Have a good one. Good luck with your semester. Okay. Sorry. I've been super chatty. Let me try something like this. I know I just tried a sweatshirt up here. Oop, choop, choop. Oh, I removed it all. Okay, just kidding. Hi, Tala. Have a good day. You guys are all so nice. I love it. Also shared some style examples in Discord. Oh, okay. Let me see. Oh, you're Timeless Neko. Okay, CEO of Cats. That makes sense. Neko is cat in Japanese, right? So you prefer this. So why did you say you prefer this, CEO of Cats? Or what do you imagine is like different that stands out for you? I mean, it's really a matter of taste. Yeah, well, that's why I'm like, oops. I just want to know like what the I'd have to go back up to his original. I mean, in some cases it's a matter of taste, but there's also there's also a difference in skill. Okay, oh, I found what you said. Style drawings that I showed didn't look exciting. The style is great, but the more cartoony. I mean, yeah. Obviously, before said, there's a preference for style. But to me, these are the level of skill is not the same. Like the artist that I showed, I mean, because if you're just talking about color flats, like there are, like that might just be a personal preference of yours. Like you like flat colors, right? But you know, objectively, I can tell that this person is not as skilled, at least as in comparison to the one that I showed. So, like, there are artists that I like that have color flat type stuff. Doesn't have a name necessarily. Who does stuff like this? This is K. This is all One Piece stuff. Super gorgeous, by the way. So this is like color flat stuff that you would... I mean, and then again, there's a matter of taste, right? So you may like things that are... It looks like you like things, based on what you shared, looks like you like things that are really sharp and stylized. So maybe this is not to your liking. Yeah, solo leveling looks amazing. That actually might be more in line to what he's talking about, or more closer to that style, but at a higher skill level. This one's not bad, although I never wear pants like this. Get those shoes back. Maybe we'll just go... Oh, good. Anna Maria. Thank you. Or unless you meant the artist that I showed, who is really good and I try to emulate whenever I do color flats. Good point. I'm not sure why I prefer this style over different ones. One of those things that's hard to explain, but there's just no answer to it. Yeah, a lot of those style choices can be subconscious until you can actually, you know, speak to art in that kind of way. And again, that's like a skill that you learn by just doing. So I'm sure if you really broke it down, you could figure out why. Like it might really be just that it's easier for you to draw and that's why you like it. Gotta talk to the paper. Not necessarily talking about it. I mean, actually, when you go through it yourself, like drawing, and you're in your head internally, like, how do I make this better? Or how do I make this to this style? You'll start to understand, what the differences are. Like anybody who gets a job in the industry, right, they have to conform to one style or another. Like you learn how to see those differences, to articulate what those differences are, because you have to go through them. Hey, Sawad. Nice seeing you here. Paper, write your thoughts on me. Got the idea, talk to yourself. You guys are funny. Eddie in action, caught alive. Been a minute since I did that. Just popped in to say hi. Joined the Discord not too long ago. Pretty cool what you made. I'll be lurking through. Thanks, Eddie. Yeah, feel free to lurk or feel free to say hi. Either one is cool with me. But thanks for saying hi. This is going to become a problem where well, not everything, but some of the things I draw, they just look good in and could be potential future outfits, but it's not like their iconic outfit. Ay. Okay, come on. We need something else. something like that. Ridiculous. That would look ridiculous. Okay. I'm gonna have to look at more like modern clothing. I save a lot of like sci-fi fantasy stuff. You search for modern clothing, it's difficult to find good ones for me. Usually like fashion trends 2023. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Um, honestly, sometimes if you go on Instagram, if you catch the right like photo, your For You page will kind of do all the work for you. uh, like if you just look at a couple of like modern, like there's tons of people who have like fashion um, uh, pages on Instagram. They're just influencers or whatever. And if you find a couple, like your For You page will just flood with a ton of them. And then there you have all the fashion you need. Because searching through like Pinterest and stuff can kind of be a pain sometimes. Especially with all the like AI that's kind of run rampant. Totally forgot he's gonna have a tail. It's probably gonna be rather big too. One good point for the algorithm, yeah. Yeah, weirdly it does have its uses. Literally we go into store websites sometimes and shopping around for outfits there. It's also nice referencing models there. Yeah, store websites can be really handy too. But if you find the right person, they make all, like on Instagram or something, they make all the right, or even TikTok, because you know then you have videos and people will turn around and stuff. Um, but they have all the right combinations of clothes that you would want to find in a store. Sometimes stores do not match their clothes up well. Um, okay, that's one potential idea. I don't like that chunky sweater, but I feel like that would be situational. Liked that jacket. Let's see. I'm gonna do one more. Oh shit. Too far. It's so hard. It's a really weird feeling to talk about whatever you have in the noggin and not have judging looks because of what you said. I'm sure I talk a lot here, maybe way too much for my own good. No, you're good. I mean, as long as what you're saying is not harmful to anybody, I don't really care about the judging looks. You know, I'm gonna say what's true to me. Whatever, you know, the consequences might be. Not that I'm saying a bunch of bad things. I talk quite a lot on these streams, so don't worry. Trying to say is that I appreciate it. Oh, okay. That I say a bunch of stuff. Or that you're able to say stuff without feeling judged. Yeah, I'm gonna try not to judge anybody. I do feel like sometimes, you know, and I definitely was more guilty of this when I was younger, is that you tend to get into this space, or maybe it's just me, where I feel like I get arrogant enough to believe that I know everything, and there's no more data or information I need because I know that, right? And I always find out later that, you know, I didn't know as much as I thought I did. So, you know, I have tried over the years, especially now, to humble myself a little bit and realize that I don't know everything. And most of the time, I try to come from a place of understanding and openness. We have a lot of, like, it's hard in a lot of spaces, I should say. But I do think that that's a good thing. Being able to accept that you're wrong is good for character growth. Yeah. Totally know people like that. It happens. Yeah. It makes me embarrassed, honestly, that I do that sometimes. I remember I was working with this friend one time and we were coming up with a story together with like a couple people, and I got so mad because like he was coming up with these story elements that made no sense, and I'm like pretending that I know everything there is to about the hero's journey. Not that I was pretending, I just thought I knew everything. Everything about the hero's journey, about writing, and I'm like new to all of this, and I'm just arguing back and forth with this person like I know everything. And it was just stupid, and it makes me embarrassed now, but like I finally did like calm down. But you know, especially with learning, there's just so many ways that you can go about things. When that new book that I read, one of the things that they talk about is, and this is what I'd like to try to do for people too, is that you try to give people, like if you're a teacher, you want to give your students scaffolding, which essentially is kind of like a building. Scaffolding is how you can get to higher areas, and it's like reinforcing everything. So you are the bridge to their own learning journey. So you're just trying to set them up in a way that they can figure out how to learn in the best way for themselves. You're not trying to force what you think is the best way down their throat, right? Because everybody's different. Yeah, hero's journey is one way to tell a story. There's a plot of Kingdom Hearts. Oh man, I don't even know. Kingdom Hearts is just in a world of its own. I don't think they're gonna teach that in schools one day, probably. Yeah, it's just a classic way of telling a hero's journey, even if it's not like a superhero kind of thing. Like, it's literally how they write a lot of movies and stuff. Get someone you're more related and feel now. Yeah, all Disney movies really do follow a lot of that format. Nah, don't be you, James. Might get someone here more related and feel not alone. Yeah, I'm okay. I don't feel alone. But I definitely have calmed down a bit in the terms of, like, thinking that I'm right about everything. Oh my god. Guys. I end up chatting too much because I don't have any ideas. This is why I said... I don't remember who said that they were going to try to stream to get their work done, but, like, this is why you don't do that. Because it's hard to think and talk and stream and all that. I'll be doing more of this later today, but... Oh, that was you, Tara? Also, what did you say? You finished something? Finished drawing my house? Put it in Discord. Oh, okay. Let me see. Nice. Nice job. I like it. Well done. Yeah, I think streaming is really good for, I mean, obviously, I'm assuming he means me. My name is actually James. I don't usually prefer to people use my name. It's weird, but yeah, streaming is really good for like and even then you should be learning, but if you were to choose any time to stream, it would be during the like rendering parts where you know them pretty down pat. They just take forever, right? So you don't have to really think. That's when you can like pop on a TV show or whatever. There are still opportunities to learn, but you can learn while doing other stuff. No, you're good, Eddie. No one just usually calls me by my name. That's okay. I'm surprised people even find it sometimes. I mean, I do mention what my name is. It's in like my first video. No, my name isn't Zephyr. If you guys are wondering why I'm not trying, it's because I'm literally looking through my reference folder for modern outfits, and I cannot find anything useful. I have so much stuff about like fantasy, it just won't work. I know it has to be something simple. I know I have reference, which is a giant ass reference folder, so it's just a lot of stuff to go through. Few times I've streamed my drawing in the voice channel. Discord 06 way longer to draw than usual. Yeah, sometimes I actually draw faster because like my brain takes out all the like complicated shit that I'm like doing this, that, and I'm just like, bam, I gotta do a drawing for the chat. And it turns out good. So like sometimes you just like you're going on instinct, so it does help you practice certain things, just like different things. Alright, technically we should be done, but I did want to try to do one more and I'm not finding anything that I like that will help me. Well, that's okay. Sometimes we just chat on here. Oops. And I did get something, so that's not awful. Just, something like that. I actually don't know what the fox's face is gonna look quite like yet, so... I just know it's gonna be similar to mine. Oh, I'm drawing on the wrong layer. Perfect. It's gonna be really cool once we get everything going though with this. What did the fox say? Found a really funny joke, a sentence, couldn't pour out water from a boot with instructions on the heel. That's pretty funny, actually. I like that one. See, and then you guys use emojis. I need to have a custom ones. We're gonna have them soon, or at least I'll try to get them as soon as possible. Again, still don't know what that's going to look like. Got an art question for y'all though. What has or have been the easiest and hardest art methods in terms of going about it to draw, school, or self-learned? I think he's asking how you learn the easiest and hardest methods to like teach yourself how to draw, or whether in school or teaching yourself, excuse me. Oh no, wait, maybe you're right. So you're asking whether or not school or self-taught is easier, which one's easier, which one's harder? I mean, I think school is just easier in general because the way that they teach you is not like you end up having to do most of the work on your own, right? Even in art school, like they're kind of checking your work and teaching you a few things, and then you're learning largely by yourself still. So even self-taught, like without any school, you know, you're doing more obviously by yourself, but even when you have school, you're doing a lot of stuff self-taught regardless. So I think most people learn through self-learning, and again, it's harder. School is obviously easier because you have somebody there who can be like, this is how you can improve this. Something that most people fail to understand when they go to something like art school, and I've seen this like with the graduation students at art center and stuff, there's only like one or two kids who are really good because they are the ones who probably had all the tools for success in that case, meaning they were able to persevere and do work on their own, whereas the rest of them just did what was required from them in class. And that's why they're not good. And that's why I had a problem too. Like I did outside work, but I went for everything that was easy. Like I did a lot of figure drawing workshops instead of trying to tackle difficult things. Like I mentioned way earlier about the book that I was reading. You have to seek out discomfort. Do things that are challenging. School does not set you up for that. Like sure, you get to learn a lot of new things and stuff, but if you don't actively pursue those new things and try to really use the knowledge that they're giving you, that you're learning, then you're not going to learn much. Like you may go to class and they'll teach you how to use, or teach you the anatomy of the figure, and you'll do a bunch of study drawings, and your figures may improve a little bit, but until you actually use that knowledge, try to put them in poses of your own, you know, even put clothes on them, whatever, you're not going to really know that knowledge until you do that. The risk of self-learning is that you might not know where the good resources are. It's easy to miss out on tips and tricks just because it never popped up in your feed. Yeah. That is a good point. When you're, especially, I've noticed this as you get better, your taste changes and your eye for art gets better. So a lot of the stuff that you liked when you were not as good as an artist will not look good to you as you get better and better, right? Because now you can see more. You can see all the mistakes that even the artwork that you love has. Not to say that you're going to fall out of love with every artist that you love. You're just going to be able to see more. So by that logic, you are going to potentially choose resources to learn from that are not good resources, and it can potentially hold you back from improving. That's why it's good to get a lot of different resources, at least until you have enough of an eye to be able to understand what's good. And you can always go by general consensus for the most part too. Like there are popular artists that we know that are good, right? And so you can study from them. Hopefully you like them too. You should go to sleep, CEO of Cats. If you're sleepy, go to sleep. It's good to get sleep. Noted. Okay, good, Eddie. Yeah. Again, I said this earlier, it takes a lot of bravery to become an artist, because you have to actually go and be uncomfortable for a while and do things that are hard. And you're going to want to not do that. So, however you can be more and more comfortable with doing things that make you uncomfortable, the better off you're going to be. And that goes through your whole life, right? There was that quote that was like, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. I think that's what it was. So what that means is, if you're like, I talked about this, I think, in one of my videos, like when I, for whatever reason, well, I know the reason now, but the way that I would play games is I get really excited about a new game. I would finally get it, play it for a bit, and then I get bored with it and I get excited for the next game. And a lot of times I would just never finish that previous one. And the way that I do that ends up echoing throughout my entire life, right? Like I get excited about an art project, I do a little bit of it, and then I get bored of it and I want to move on to the next idea that I have. I think I talked about it in that work in progress video. You have to be consistent in the way that you go about life, no matter what you're doing, so that you improve every aspect of your life. Most young artists who think references is cheating think that because they take the wrong advice. Yeah, pretty much everything around an artist is a reference. They see someone who's good at drawing, think their art advice are 100% right. Yeah, I'm hoping to break a lot of those, barriers not barriers, those very rigid rules of thinking, right? Like I talked about this last stream, I think, with the tracing, is that, I know in my gut and from looking at research that tracing is not really a great tool for learning. It has its uses, but it's not a good tool for learning, right? But a lot of people would argue against that and get really upset when you mention it. Even like the references thing, a lot of people think reference is cheating, but there's also a lot of people who think that you need reference for everything. And if you use reference for everything, you'll never learn how to draw from your imagination and really have a very flexible drawing skill set. The people that draw really well do not learn reference to a point where they can it actually becomes reference. It's not like they're not trying to copy what they see, right? And they can draw without it and come up with poses without it. People bring pro tracing as a new thing. Said this like 10 to 15 years ago. Most people would agree with you. Yeah, I don't know why it's become a thing. It's really weird, honestly. I think it has a lot to do with animation, because it's used so widely in that. But people misconstrue it as like not a tool for just getting the job done, and actually like it helps them learn, which is confusing. When I find something interesting, I tend to stick with it for longer than I should. I replay games longer over when complete. Oh, that's a good thing. But yeah, think of all the little things that you do that might be bad habits, right? Like not cleaning up your space after you're done, and how that might influence other aspects of areas that you want to be better at, you know? When you avoid discomfort in one area, you're going to do it when you're drawing, right? If you're very picky about foods and you're not willing to try a new food, chances are you're going to not stay really comfortable when you draw, right? The way you do one thing is the way they're going to do everything. My guess is that's a result that you cannot cheat in art movement. Yeah, there was a big rise of that. I remember when I was in art school, I used reference, and I literally had somebody call me out for it. I was doing some traditional painting, and I was using reference, and this girl was just like, "That's cheating. Why are you doing that?" She's like, "What?" I was on the conceptart.org forums. And that was my first bye, CEO of Cats. We'll see you next time. We'll be on tomorrow. Sleep well. Conceptart.org was the first like really big community for concept art, entertainment art, and everybody in that space knew that reference was required to help build your visual library, right? But now we've gone so far to the other side that now people rely on it too heavily that they're not it ends up hindering the learning process, right? You need to also draw from your imagination. Take that stuff away. There's nothing wrong with using reference. I think they just came out with this video. It's a really good example of what's it called? Street Fighter. And I guess they have a whole video of how they got reference from different for Street Fighter 6, they got reference from different like bodybuilders, female and male, like really big guys or really like thin but still muscular dudes, and they used it as reference to build the characters. But I guarantee that the ones who are really good, at least, know how to draw those figures and can change the musculature like to however they want. Once you know the figure and anatomy, you can change things on your own. You don't need a reference of somebody, but the reference helps you construct things when it can actually be used as reference and not what most people use it as, which is just a copy, you know. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that either. It's just that your knowledge is going to be, and your skill is going to be that much stronger when you take the time to actually learn how to construct things. You can build anything, right? It's a really hard thing to talk about. I would definitely have to like sit down and make sure that that's articulated properly, but I feel like at least 4 of you know me well enough to know what the hell I'm talking about, I hope. Hi Rushivanth. That is going to be a hard name for me. I'm sorry. I'm trying really hard. Rushivanth. Hello there. I do think the weird attitude towards methods hurts more to your improvement than tracing, like attitude-wise. Oh yeah, true. If there's no cheating art, then we have to accept people using AI for their art. No, not really. Because that's different. That's like actual theft. You've made a very much more complex topic too simple. Eddie, I came late to the stream as I knew avatar emote of Zephyr. the left. Oh, no, no, this is not mine. Apologize. This is from another artist. They did a couple of these. No, these are, so a while ago, boop, let me turn this off. I have a character that I made, or I had made like a comic a while back. And I did it for a few months. It was really fun. I can show you the first one, which I always really love. Bye, James. And then I'm like, finally, the house to myself, free to do anything, the ultimate power! And then I don't know what to do, and I just go back to playing video games. It's definitely one of my favorites. You can see how the design has changed a little bit, like the face. And I'm making the character a bit more chunky, I guess you could say. Like chunky hands and things like that. But I actually have a story, and there's supposed to be this Fox character. This is the first sketch of him. That's why it's all kind of light and gray. So I'm trying to do character designs for that. And then in this one of the past streams, we made some potential emojis and stuff. So I'm going to need my finished design in order to make those. Yeah, I'm very excited about it. I definitely want to agree with you. There's people out there who think otherwise. Discourse I don't look forward to face. I mean, it's like I said, it's a very complex topic. Hey Ryuzaki, I'm gonna be ending soon in a second. I got caught chatting. I'll be back tomorrow though if you're around. Yeah, it's a very complex topic. Like when you look, the way that I always look at it too when I think about it is when you imagine, I always talk about Star Trek where they have that hollow room or whatever. What the hell is that called? The holodeck? If you've ever watched Star Trek. And they literally can go in there and come up with anything that they want, right? Like you could walk into the holodeck and be like, put me in an Avengers movie, I want to play Captain America, I want there to be like 3 really big twists and turns, and the AI will just figure that shit out and put them in a movie, right? And that all, something like that would require AI to just eat up everything that we've ever created, and potentially have some form of sentience on its own, in order to create. So but for us to go from like here to there, we're getting into the murky areas of AI, where it's like, you know, we're in capitalism, so people are just stealing people's art in order to make money instead of our art combining for the betterment of society. So that road, that path there, like the idea is cool, but it has so many negatives to it because there's just based around theft, right? Like it would be cool to see, and you could honestly just keep it to yourself. You don't need to sell it to anybody, but like, hey, I want to see what would happen if you combine Dragon Ball Z with One Piece, you know? Like, sure, you can draw it yourself too, but like, if it was just entertainment for yourself, wouldn't that be cool if you could see everything in the style of like Oda Ichiro or something, but it's just Dragon Ball as One Piece or something? I don't know. You could make any kind of combination you wanted, right? There's a lot of it that just is interesting, but the way that it's being used right now is bad. SpongeBob but as Dragon Ball? Yeah, see? That's just weird combination. Like, I would like to see what that looks like. And maybe you can't draw or whatever, or you know, and it's just for Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z. That is amazing. SpongeBall. I like that one too, actually. Oh my god. I mean, even that idea sounds really, really funny and cool, that I actually, like, part of me wants to draw that. And I'm sure there are people that want to do that too, right? But, like, wouldn't that be cool also if there was a machine that just, like, did it really quick so you could see it, right? I think there's an ethical and non-ethical way to, like, move forward with things like that. And I think that there's enough of a general consensus to be like, this is icky or this is okay. You know, in the same way that we kind of look at cheating with art, is like, it's a very gray area. Like, there's certain things that people do where, you know, there's that book Steal Like an Artist, and you're like, okay, this is stealing, but it borrowed from enough sources and it became its own thing that it's okay. But when you start to, like, trace another person's pose, then it becomes not okay, right? Or you start to steal their character design, but it's in a different pose. That's not okay. It's the kind of thing where you almost need, like, a moral, ethical judges, right? Where they'll be like, they can look at each individual piece and be like, this is okay, this is not. We broke him, chat. Mr. Krabs being king guy. Yeah, and that is one of the big problems too, is that most of this right now is just to make people, or excuse me, pretty much all of it right now is to make money. I actually end up feeling bad for some of the AI, the people who like AI art, because you can tell that they were people that wish that they were artists, and they just never had the motivation or the tools or whatever to actually follow through on that dream. So AI is like their way to do that. Hey, Ice Radical. So in a way, for some of them, the ones that are not scummy and pieces of shit, I feel bad for them. Because it's just someone else who never got to follow through on that dream for whatever reason. And they see this opportunity to, like, create something that's in their head that comes out. And I'm sure if we did it in an ethical way where it wasn't based on capitalism, like, artists would happily give their work to put it in their engine so that people could create. People who can't create could now create stuff. And, you know, there'd be a level of respect where they'd be like, I know that this is partially from you. It's almost like a collaboration at this point. But we don't have that because we have capitalism. So, excellent. I've seen early generative AI that's not trained with scripting. It's just abstract stuff. I used to like those. Yeah, I mean, those can be cool too. Alright guys, we've been extra chatty today. Well, mostly just me, but you guys too. I will see you guys all tomorrow. Or maybe we'll just play a game tomorrow, because it's been so long. I think we haven't talked all that much, so you're doing your best to out chat you. So yeah, well, you guys can ask all your questions and stuff. Have a wonderful day, Tara. Or before we end, was wondering, I know you mentioned that Discord not priority in getting ideas and such at the moment, but I got ideas for like a suggestion channel for them. Suggestion channel. The only thing I'm afraid of, the only reason I'm even hesitating on that, is someone will make a suggestion that I don't really want to do, but everybody will be super excited about. And I'll feel forced to do it. If I can figure out a way to make the suggestions private, Um, I suppose you could just message me. Or leave suggestions in the like community chat. Or you know what? I'll allow this is if you have a suggestion, just tag me, just at me, and I'll make a list. That way it disappears and it's not in its own thing. Yeah. Oh, congrats on your nephew. Yeah, Silver. Alright, guys. It was lovely chatting with y'all. I'll catch you all tomorrow. And have a good day.